Hello, everyone. Can you guys hear me through this mask? You can hear me? Otherwise, I can try a different one if it's easier. You're good? Okay. So I would like to introduce myself. My name is Rachel Simic. I'm the choir teacher here. Hello. It's really nice to see all of you here. I was telling the students, I'm like, for most of your families, this is the first time I get to meet them. So, hello. That's my introduction. Rachel Simic. I've been in Plymouth here for 8 years, here at the middle school. So some of you do already know me just because of the families that I've taught through the years. So I just want to welcome all of you to this concert tonight. This is the 3-teacher team of 6th graders. So this group has been working together since the beginning of the year, kind of. So I'm going to kind of explain to you how the progression of their year began. So when we first came back to school, we kept all of the students in cohorts, which meant they all stayed together within their same 20 students that they were in their classroom socially distanced from. So we also did that with all of their other classes, including choir. So that meant some of them were coming to choir in groups of 6, some of them were coming to class with groups of 10. They were socially distanced to 12 feet because singing creates more aerosols than most other things that you're doing, just breathing or talking. Singing, we are spitting. So we had to stay 12 feet apart at the time because that's what the research was telling us. We also had to start our rehearsals in the auditorium because that was the largest space that we had. And I think these students would tell you, now we've started practicing in the choir room. And would you guys agree that singing in the auditorium was way harder? Yes. So they were socially distanced, double what we normally were doing. And they were masked and 12 feet apart, lacking confidence because they didn't know each other yet either. So let's give the students a round of applause for overcoming all of that this year. So now we have around 3rd trimester with all the new things that we're learning about COVID and everything else and vaccinations and all the really fun jargon that we all get to talk about. We finally got to meet the students as an entire class. So this group is 3 classes together. They've been practicing together only for the last trimester, which means 3 months, right? Yeah, okay. I'm a middle school teacher, I should know that. So we've been working together. We meet 2 to 3 times a week for 45 minutes. So they've really come a long way and I'm very proud of them for that. So, their first song tonight is The Circle of Life from Disney's The Lion King. Kumbaya. So many of you will know those melodies. The students worked on the term harmony and melody throughout the year. So melody, we like to know, is the term, the part that everyone goes away singing. So when you're singing the circle of life, in the circle of life, but some other students were singing, in the circle, that's the harmony, the circle of life. That's what some of them are singing, that's harmony. So in this next piece, there are two melodies that we combine. So in this song, who sings the melody for a piece like a river? Some of them remember these terms. So who sings part two? Yeah, that side of the room. And then who sings the melody of Kumbaya? The majority of the time. This side of the room. Well, one of these days we'll figure it out. Okay, so we also worked on painting lyrics and making them sound beautiful together. So some days we would literally paint, we would like pretend to paint our songs together so that it created this physicalness with their singing, but it also helped them create phrasing. And then this song also comes from the Wisconsin School Music Association's solo and ensemble list. So part of it when they continue on in 7th grade is the students can participate in solo and ensemble, which is an event on a weekend where they go and sing in front of a judge, and they can sing and get criticisms and learn how to be better musicians. So this song comes from that list so that in preparation for 7th grade, if any of them choose, they already know a piece. So we hope you enjoy. it was this, I mean, which would you guys prefer, the wind or the sun? Yeah, honestly, I don't know if you can tell, but my arms are pretty sunburned, and it's literally just because I sit here and the sun beats on me from noon to 2:30 every day. But it's been beautiful. It's been so great to be able to rehearse outside. So, speaking of wind, our next piece is going to be Colors of the Wind from Pocahontas. So a few people I would like to thank before our final section. I'd like to thank Mrs. Valerie Cott for being here tonight to accompany all of us. Let's give her a round of applause. I'd also like to thank the Plymouth community for being such a wonderful place to be. You look around the world today, and there are many places throughout the country that students don't even get to come to school, much less have band or choir. Just go up 23, and the students in Sheboygan don't even have this opportunity this year. So thank you so much for supporting what we do and supporting their growth as musicians and artists, because this is so, I think, how many of you find this a really great break in your day? Yeah, I think, like, again, going through, I mean, this is a pretty traumatic time and experience for many of us. And as a young person, it's really hard to navigate, and having this break in their day is super important. So thank you so much for letting us do that. I would also like to thank the administration for, again, supporting all the things that we've tried to do this year. Social distancing, having an outdoor concert, like, this is a lot of work for them, so I really appreciate that. And I would like to thank you guys. Thank you. Why? Because you bring a smile to my face every day. Whether or not it's always because we're laughing or I'm being snarky, you do always make me smile. So no, thank you guys for sticking it out, because this is a hard year. And I really appreciate how much you've grown. And I have seen that growth. I'm really proud. So let's give them a round of applause. Okay, so their final song is called We Will. It was actually written in response to 9/11, which is another traumatic experience some of us have experienced. They have not. But it was written, like, the composer was on his way to Miami when all of this happened, and he worked with a children's choir to write a song about how they felt about this moment in time. It will feature Kayla Stenz, Nora Barrett, Brittany Young, Eva Hawk, and Lily Block. So just a reminder, once they are done, please nicely and calmly pack your things up, unless you have to be here for another concert, and head out, just because there is another group of students coming in for their next concert. Thank you guys so much for attending this evening, and safe travels home.
As we wake from this dream,
Oh man, my feet hurt.
Good night, guys.
Good to see you guys. Have a good night. Yeah, enjoy the nice
Okay, can everybody hear me? Families out there, can you hear me? You guys are like as bad as the students when you respond and no one responds back to you. Yeah, thanks. That was a joke, just like the students. You think I'm funny? They don't. Okay. So I honestly, sometimes students do laugh at me. Okay, and in a good way. Hi, my name is Rachel Simak. I am the choir director here at Riverview Middle School. I work with your children every other day for 45 minutes. Yeah, that's what we do. So, this is the four teacher team of students. There are two groups of sixth grade who were here prior. They were finishing up. These students this year, because of COVID, had to start in cohorts. So that meant every class came to us. Like Mr. May's class came at one time for 25 minutes, once every 6 days. To follow COVID protocols at the time, that's what we had to do. We also had to social distance the students by 12 feet, just because singing creates more aerosols. We also had to meet in the auditorium every day, which is a much larger space, makes it much harder to sing. So, can we just give these students a round of applause for enduring all of that? So now we meet as like a team. Next year, the hope, fingers crossed, we get to all meet as a sixth grade choir. Because of how many students are in sixth grade choir and band, we did have to separate the two for social distancing purposes. So the students have really endured a lot this year, and I'm really proud of them for that. So their first selection tonight is Colors of the Wind, which is, pretty fitting considering it's a little windy out here right now. This song introduced us to harmony and melody. So, does anybody want to tell the audience what melody means? Okay, so the melody, they're just shy. I promise most of them know the answer to this. The melody is the part everyone goes away singing. So we talk about how in Colors of the Wind, you think you own whatever land you land on. The earth is just a dead thing you can claim, but that's the melody. And then harmony is something that makes it more interesting. So again, working with these groups, we've started to learn how to balance those things. It's still a work in progress, so you may not hear it all the time, but then you will hear two separate parts throughout this song. I hope you enjoy. Okay, so our next selection comes from the Wisconsin School Music Association Solo and Ensemble list. So it's Peace Like a River, Kumbaya. So the reason I picked it is every year I try to, in 7th grade, the students have the opportunity to perform at an event called Solo and Ensemble, which is an extracurricular that they can get ready for. They get ready to sing a song, then they sing it in front of their peers and a judge, and the judge gives them criticisms and helps them grow as a musician. So I like to incorporate some of this music as a 6th grader, so in 7th grade, if they would like to do it, they can just say, I'd like to do that, and we just pick up a song that they've already learned. So this is one of 2 songs that these students have learned this year, which also means there's really a lot of content in it, and they're learning things that we would be performing in a normal year, which is really exciting. Like, we are getting there. So this song will feature 2 different melodies, Peace Like a River and Kumbaya. Someone's praying, Kumbaya. can honestly say that song made me cry when they were singing it one day in rehearsal. It's been a really hard year for all of us. Like, it's hard for me to go from singing with my ensembles of 80 students all standing in a room to 6 kids and half of them are online for a little bit. Like, it was really hard. So this ensemble has grown so much. I'm so proud of them. Like, they really have brought it this year. So let's give them one more round of applause. So our next song was actually written in response to 9/11 and talks about endurance and how we will overcome things. So I thought it was pretty fitting for this concert, and it's going to feature some of our students. So the following students will be featured: Kylie Lesko, Zora Hollyfield, Zoe Doverson, Austin Creasa, Nate Stavola, Avery Fever, and Stella Neitzel. So when we worked on this song, we worked on blending our parts together, harmony and melody, steady beat, which you'll note, like, there's some really funky stuff that we do in this song, which we have to keep a beat in order to do that. And they will also be singing a cappella, which means the piano doesn't help them. They're just going to start off their song with one pitch and go. So I hope you enjoy our song of We Will.
As we walk away from fear, as we
Okay, thank you all for being here tonight. It has been a pleasure. So I would like to thank, let's give a round of applause for Mrs. Valerie Cott, who came in and played piano for us. I would like to thank the administration and everybody who has helped to make this happen for us this year. Again, it's been a hard one, but you just drive down to Sheboygan and their students don't even have band or choir offered to them this year. So I do thank the administration for fighting for what we do. I thank you community members and families for fighting for what we do. Because it has been such, I mean, again, it's been a hard year, but our kids were in school the whole time. And we should be, so I thank you for letting our kids come to school because it's been really great for them. So, and I think most importantly, let's give, again, the students a round of applause for enduring all of this. Good job, guys. It really has been a pleasure working with all of you this year, and I hope to see all of you in person, maskless, not socially distanced with your peers next year. That's our goal, okay? All right, so this final song, these kids learned in 3 weeks. They took it, and then when I asked them what do you want your concert order to be? They pick all of this stuff. This year, they are in charge. And this song was the one they wanted as their final selection. So I'm so proud of them. They got it together in 3 weeks, and it's one of their favorites, I believe. It also comes from the WSMA list, so it is a true solid piece of work. Just a reminder, there is another group of students coming in after you, so please quickly and quietly proceed to the back of the area so that those other families can come in because their concert is supposed to start shortly. Thank you all for being here tonight and supporting all that we do, and safe travels home.
All night, all
Okay, so I do apologize for those families who sat through the last 3 introductions of myself, so I'm sorry. But I have to do it. So, hello, welcome to the 7th grade choir concert. I'm very thankful all of you are here tonight. My name is Rachel Simak. I am the choir director here at Riverview. I just want to say thank you to these students right away. I was thinking about it in the car the other day. I'm actually going to cry because I feel really bad for you. My husband when I left the house today, he goes, wow, you're pregnant with your 2nd child, and the last concert I was pregnant at with my son. He's now a year old, and this is my next concert, and I'm pregnant with my next. I've had 2 kids in the time that we've had our last concert, which is kind of crazy. You also were gypped out of a lot of things. You didn't get to have, the 6th graders, they don't know any different. 8th grade, they got to have all of 6th grade together. You didn't get that. And I'm sorry for that for you. I didn't do it, but I'm sorry you had to experience that. So let's give them all a round of applause for enjoying that. So not only did they endure all of that, but when we first started the school year, the students were together in cohorts, which meant they were in just their classes together. So they met with me once every 6 days for 25 minutes. They were socially distanced by 12 feet. They were masked, and they were singing in the auditorium. That's really hard. Singing 12 feet apart, you would have to take most of these kids 4 times what they were doing. And then put in immaturity, 7th grade. You haven't seen each other in a long time. Your confidence it's really not there yet. It takes a long time, and singing is all about confidence. If you don't have confidence in yourself, you're literally, in band, you can put an instrument in front of you and say, well, my instrument didn't play that note right. If you are singing, that's you. And that's really scary as an immature 13-year-old. Because I'm sure all of you, your kids are always right all the time. Right? I mean, that's hard as an adolescent who's trying to come into their own. So, this group, I think it's had the hardest experience. Now, in the last 3 months, we've got to put all of them together, and we socially distanced 6 feet. We've been practicing in the auditorium. But even there, all of those connections that we would have made a year ago, it's taken a long time to get there. So sometimes I'm harping on the men about how they talk too much, they're always off task. But part of it is because they haven't seen each other in so long that they just want to have that interaction. So I'm trying to be very graceful. It's hard sometimes, but I'm also trying to hold them to expectations, which they're coming there. They meet my expectations. So thank you again for that. So again, let's just give them a round of applause for their endurance this year because they trust me. Okay, so our first selection tonight is Swing Low, and you're gonna hear me say it a lot tonight. These students worked on singing out. That was our big thing most of the time. It's just sing out, pretend nobody's in front of you, sing. So they worked on also listening to one another, but again, they had to be singing loud enough to hear each other to be able to do that, and balancing their sound. One section should not be louder than another. They should sound like one. So we continue to work on that throughout this piece. I hope you enjoy. So this next piece is called Kusi Mama, Stand Tall. So again, pretty fitting piece for what we're dealing with right now. The students originally, when we started in cohorts, we did start in two-part singing. So that last piece, we have raise your hand if you're a soprano, raise your hand if you're an alto, and raise your hand if you're a baritone. These parts did not come into play until we were able to get together in as an entire group. We just weren't confident enough yet in our singing to be able to do this. So this is a song we probably started in January, December, just to start working on that confidence as I talked about. So it will feature body percussion, and it will also feature Angie Krieger, Alex Young, and Selena. Okay, our next selection is California Dreamin', which we kind of have a little bit of that California sun today. So I can really appreciate that. I think it was cool to experience this piece with your students because like it's an oldie, right? And some of them would be like, I've never heard this song before, this is so lame. And then they went home and talked to you and they're like, my mom and dad know that. My grandma and grandpa know that. It's really fun to see that experience, so then once you guys know it and you encourage them to sing it, it makes it more fun for all of us. The other thing that's fun about this piece is raise your hand if you have the melody the majority of the time. Yeah, the altos, which is not something that they usually get, so these kids really enjoyed it for that piece. So I hope you enjoy.
All the leaves are brown in the sky.
Okay, before our final selection, I'd just like to make some thank yous. So first of all, I would like to thank Mrs. Valerie Cott for being here tonight playing piano for us. So let's give her a round of applause. I would also like to thank just you, the families, the community of Plymouth for advocating so hard this year that it's best for kids to learn in school, in person, as best they can, or whatever needs they want or need for their families. So I thank you for letting us have band and choir this year, for supporting music. It has been a challenging year, but these kids got to still experience that. I mean, even in Sheboygan, in middle school, those kids aren't experiencing that this year, which is a shame, in my opinion. Sorry. But I do thank you all for encouraging your children to continue to work hard, to endure through all of these times, because it's hard. So, thank you. I'd like to thank the administration for listening to all the crazy things I've tried to do this year. Like, we've been having class outside some days. I've had class in the auditorium. I've had class in my classroom. You've had lessons in various places. We've moved. I've had, like, at the beginning of the year, I saw them for 25 minutes. Then we changed the whole schedule so they could be in choir for 45 minutes. So I thank them for just being willing to accommodate the needs of the students at all times. And thank you. Thanks for being here. For, again, it's been a hard year. And you've endured. And you've done a great job with that. Yeah. Congratulations. So thank you. Okay? So our final selection tonight comes from Titanic. I was going to say, like, wait, who's the director? It's a famous director, isn't it? James Cameron. So, like, this is what I would say. Directed by James Cameron. Titanic. My heart will go on. So, I hope you all enjoyed our selections tonight. Just a reminder, once you are completed, there is another group of students coming in. So please step to the back as best you can so that their concert can begin in a timely manner. Thank you again for your support and safe travels home.
Not you, it was Chris.
Hello everyone, can you all hear me? Great. Hi, I'm Rachel Simic. I'm the choir director here at Riverview. I think like many of you already know my face, which is pretty exciting. Like my seventh, what was it? I was talking to some sixth grader the other day and they're like, it's really weird to see your face because I'm usually masked just like the kids. But so it's really nice to see all your faces here tonight, and thank you so much for supporting all that we're doing. So, welcome to 8th grade choir. We made it. 3 years. Let's give him a round of applause. So, as all of you know, COVID hit us hard in band and choir. I mean, when we went virtual in the spring, I think this class lost like 10 kids just because we went virtual. And then we came back to school, and COVID restrictions were much harsher. And it meant that the kids came to classes in cohorts, which meant they came as just their class. So, and many of our students were still online at the beginning of the year. I think now we're down to 2 students in this class that they still are virtual, but most of them are back in person. So I think at one point there was like 10 of them in here that were virtual, which it was also really hard. But these kids endured a lot. So when we started the year, I saw them for 25 minutes every 6 days, and some of them were, I think the smallest group I had was 1 person in person and 5 virtual students. So if you can put that into context, that means 1 student was standing in front of me singing, and then 5 of them were muted at home. It's like really scary. It's really hard. So many of them did not endure through that. Like first trimester was really hard, and a lot of students dropped. So that's why this group honestly is so small today. It's because some of them don't have as much endurance. So let's give the students standing here a round of applause for all of their endurance. I'm really proud of you. That's hard. It's really hard. So thank you for still being here, as much as sometimes you drive me nuts. I do appreciate you, and I appreciate making music with you. This class really is really fun to make music with. They do it rather quickly and easily. They're one of the only groups that got to put out multiple Christmas songs during the holiday. Different cohorts got to sing songs. The other groups did not get to do that because they weren't there yet. So I'm really proud of them for that. This year I did make song selections based on them leaving, based on endurance, and based on things that they liked. Again, when you're looking at a group of 1 student in front of you and 5 virtual, you start to think, how can I keep these kids here? So we did a lot of songs that were like popular when I was in school, like songs from Glee. Parents, do you remember Glee, the TV show? No, or am I too young? Or I'm too old, not sure. Yeah, it's weird now that I'm like getting to be parents' ages, because I'm like, oh, this is how you guys feel. But yeah, because there's sometimes, like it used to be like I was closer in age to them, I'm not anymore. So, so thanks for making me feel old, thank you. That's a joke, you're supposed to laugh, okay. So our first song today is Seasons of Love, which many of them, I think, how many of you sang this in elementary school? Yeah. Tonight the arrangement's gonna be a little different. You'll hear all 3 parts. So now we're singing in 3 parts. Raise your hand if you're a soprano. Those are the highest singing ladies. Who's an alto? Those are my lower females, and baritones, my men, okay? So this song added harmony, and we worked on balance and blend. So just, I think this, like the Sopranos, I think you would be honest, if we're being honest with your families, you had the hardest time singing out. We worked really hard on that this year. Again, how many of you started, like, does anybody, we started in such a weird way. It was really hard. We haven't really been working together. We've been working together as an ensemble for half of the year. So it really, I'm just really proud of how far they've come. So I hope you enjoy Seasons of Love.
minutes, 525,000 moments of dear, 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year? In daylights, in sunsets, in midnights, in cups of coffee, in inches, in miles of laughter and strife. 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year in the life of love? Measuring love. Seasons of
Okay, so our next selection comes from the South African Suite. So again, this year it's been a challenge, but I wanted to challenge the kids. I wanted to so in a normal year, Lakeland has a choir festival. These kids were getting ready to sing at the Lakeland Choir Festival. They were supposed to sing at the Lakeland Choir Festival 2 weeks before COVID shut us down. So they had a Japanese piece that we were supposed to perform at Lakeland. And what that means is they take them all to Lakeland. They sing for 3 judges. The judges give them criticisms. They get a score. They get to come back, and most of the students get a 1, which is the highest rating they can get. And then it's really prideful, and it's really fun. Like, it's a fun field trip we get to go on, and they get to show their performance skills. That was taken away from them. And then Lakeland didn't offer it again this year either. So instead I said, well, we can still do songs from that list. The list has multiple songs on it. So I took a song from that list and I challenged them. I also gave it to them in Swahili. So we are going to sing. Our first piece is Chocholosa. So it's about a man riding a train to Zimbabwe. And then our next piece with that is Sia Humba, which some of you may know as We Are Marching in the Light of God. So it was a marching piece that they used for freedom in Zimbabwe. I hope you enjoy. So again, I picked a lot of pieces based on the middle school journey and growing up. So our next piece comes from the musical Wicked, and it's called For Good. And it really is just like, it's about an end of a friendship, kind of. Not that this is an end of a friendship, but this is an end of a journey for some of you in middle school. And we can all say middle school is truly a journey, right? Again, that's a joke. They're really landing tonight. Okay, so this piece will feature Grace Lambert, Mary Crumley, Emily Entringer, Taylor Weisensell, Molly Munson, Sadie Petrick, and Brianna Schrader.
I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn, and we are led to those who help us most to grow if we let them, and we help them in return. Well, I don't know if I believe that's true, but I know I'm who I am today because I knew you. Like a comet broken orbit, as it passes the sun, like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, I have been changed for good. Well, maybe that we will never meet again in this lifetime. So let me say before we part, so much of me is made of what I learned from you. You'll be with me, like a handprint on my heart. Now wherever way our stories end, I know you have rewritten mine by being my friend. Like a ship hung from its mooring by a wind of the sea, like a sea drowned by a sky.
today we made an audible. We're changing the program up. We're gonna be doing Hit the Road Jack next, just so you're aware. But I'm gonna still do my note cards. I do better on note cards. So, again, I wanna say, I'm really proud of you. Cause like, this was hard, right? Like, I think the worst part about it was we started with normal, then nothing, then weird, then almost normal. Okay, I'm gonna go really quick because I felt really proud. So I'm really proud of them. It's been a challenging year. Of course this is gonna happen to these 8th graders, because why wouldn't it, right? Can anybody see that far? Like, how far is this rain cloud? Should we just, okay, hit the road, Jack. Let's go.
Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack.
Don't you come back no more.
Tell me what you say.
Oh woman, oh, you treat so mean.
You're the meanest old woman that I've ever seen. Guess if you say so, I'll have to pack my things and go.
That's right.
Hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack.
Don't you come back no more. Cause it's understood. Get no money if you're just no good.
Hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more. Hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more.
I just realized we've been messing this up in rehearsal. It's because I have 2 of the same pages and so does the accompanist, but they're the wrong page. Can we do that for you again? We're gonna move on. Those are really hard for these kids. I don't know how many of you are also aware, they don't work with their accompanist other than the day of a concert. So I play with them, but I'm not a piano player. I'll be the first one to tell you that. All they get from me is dun, dun, da da dun, da da da. I don't even do the da da da. I just go dun, 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 dun. That's all they get. So sometimes, and this group, because of scheduling issues, they only have 30 minutes with me. And then if you're in Mr. Hoopman's home base, you don't get here until like 5 minutes to 7 minutes late every day. Oh, they hear about it all the time. So, because in their defense, they get their half an hour to go outside and play, and they should have that, but some of them get their time on the soccer field a little longer. So, and Mr. Hoopman is very good about keeping his cohort together, so I think the rain has subsided. Would you agree? Can I keep talking? Just because I have other notes and I do want to tell you. Okay. So I'm sorry about that. So again, I'm really proud of you guys. Stuck it out, challenging year. The other thing that this ensemble did was many of them participated in the Wisconsin School Music Association's honor choir. So how many of you in October participated with a virtual choir online? So those kids went, like in a normal year, they would have gone to Madison and sung with the state honor choir. They didn't get to have that experience this year, but they did get some of that. Another group of students got to work in January. Who worked in January? Does anybody, the October group, who are you? Who sang in October? I think you three did. Cole, I think you did. He doesn't know his dates. Okay, so I would say that in classroom too. I feel like it's kind of nice to have such a small audience because it's really intimate with a lot of you because I know you. Like, it's fun. This is kind of, like, maybe I'll start doing concerts like this from now on. So yeah, it is cool, right? So some of these kids, we've tried to do as many normal things for these kids as we could. We also worked on, they got to do a musical. We got to do a musical, which the nice thing about, we directed it with the school nurse. Sarah Stout is the school nurse. So it was really awesome to work with. How many of you standing here today were a part of that? So there was a cast of 15, and we got to participate. We got to do a musical, and it was really awesome. I think it's cool because we got to be so intimate. Like, it was 15 of you, so it was a different experience. And then Max Holly, who's here tonight, he also helped participate in that. So thanks, Max. He's like, oh God. I love a microphone. Okay, so I really thank you guys so much. It has been a pleasure working with you for the last 3 years. I don't get to say this at 8th grade celebration, and we just play our song and we move on. But still, thank you for all the good times, for all the times that I yelled at Chase, for all of the times. I'm trying to think of other little things that we have. Do we have any other little things? I think I have a lot of little things with every one of you in some regard, but that's our joke right now. And just thanks for, like, it was a hard year. So thanks for sticking with me. It was hard. So thanks for being there and being my COVID kids. And you will be missed. Some of you. No, you will be missed. This ensemble will be missed. I wish you all the best in high school. You all will do great things, especially considering you've endured this year. I think the endurance that you have is truly going to help you in life and anything you choose to do. So, our final selection is Breakaway. It will feature Chloe Krebsbach. And again, they're breaking away from middle school. I also really enjoy this song. Like, it's just a fun song. I told them all to watch Princess Diaries on Disney Plus, so if you want to watch that with your children, you can too. That's where it comes from, if anybody doesn't know. It's also made famous by Kelly Clarkson. So I hope you all have enjoyed this concert tonight. Thank you for being such a wonderful community, letting your kids have band and choir, for, you know, sticking it out, or if they were virtual for a while and are back, and how crazy that was. It's been an experience, and these kids have done such a wonderful job. And thank you so much for being here and, again, supporting everything that they've done and supporting just having your kids in school this year. It's been a challenge, but I think it's been a really great challenge that your kids have overcome. So thank you so much. Safe travels home, and I'll see you at 8th grade celebration.
In a small town, and when the rain would fall down, I just stare out my window, dreaming of what could be. And if I'd end up happy, I would pray. Like no one could hear me. Wanted to belong here, something felt so wrong here, so touch the sky. There's a chance to make a change and break away out of the dark. darkness and